All right, with the conclusion of the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals, we've seen wonderful footballing moments that will go down in history. So the semi-finals, we all are looking forward to the semi-finals as football fans. Man City play Real Madrid, which is a repeat of last season's semi-final. As well as the other semi-final is a Milan derby, one of the greatest rivalries in footballing history, AC Milan versus Inter Milan. So both of those clashes are mouth-watering indeed. So what do we expect? Of course, with Real Madrid battling Man City, perhaps we might expect more of the same from what happened last season. But then, I think maybe, in my opinion, I think City will go through to the final, because I think something has to give in at the end of the day. But then, knowing Real Madrid, they are Champions League, specialists. Even when you never even expect them, to actually do anything or go through to the next round, they always pull out something out of nothing. As what we saw in last season's showpiece, we saw against PSG, they were 2-0 down on aggregate, and they came back out of nowhere with a hat-trick by Karim Benzema. We saw again in the next round when they played against Chelsea again, which was a repeat of last season's quarterfinals. And again, they played again in this season's quarterfinals. They came back from behind after we saw that vintage pass from Luka Modric, and they went through to the semifinals. Even the brilliance of Benzema again with the hat-trick in the first leg last season. And then we saw even last season, we thought City had won it. We thought that finally this was their moment. Then all of a sudden, Madrid scores 2 goals in 2 minutes. The young Rodrigo was the hero that day. And then next, of course, we knew that they were going to beat Liverpool. That was a given. So perhaps maybe Madrid might pull the same stance that they did last season, but I think City will go through, because City, they've got more class this season. I think them, after their win against Bayern Munich, it shows that they're a team of character, they're a team of vision, they're a team that has a goal to fulfill, and that has a point to prove. And I think the Champions League will give them a point to prove to many that they are capable of doing it, even at a big stage, which is the UEFA Champions League, and which will be in the first, if they are to win it, it'll be the first time in their history, of course. And perhaps that might put, Pep Guardiola as one of the greatest managers, of all time. But then I still believe that he is, because he has already won it with Barcelona twice, so I don't think he necessarily has to win it with Man City to prove that he's the greatest manager ever. But then perhaps, according to many other footballing fans, football experts, etc., perhaps, yeah, I guess that, he has to win it. And then let's talk about the other game, the Milan derby. Wow, everybody's looking forward to that clash. Two Italian giants, great rivalry, great history. We know AC Milan are 7-time champions. Inter won it in 2010. So there's a lot to play for. Stakes are high in this one. We know that Inter Milan just defeated Benfica. Nobody ever fancied Inter Milan to reach the stage, because they were even in a tight group where there was Barcelona and Bayern Munich. But then they exceeded expectations, by knocking out Barcelona and dumping them to the Europa League for a second consecutive season, post the Leo Messi era. So when you look at Inter Milan squad, there's players like Lautaro Martinez, Romelu Lukaku, who has shown his class again. Players like Nicola Barella, players like Juan Correa, and many more, man. These are players that, have shone on the big stage. We've seen even with players like Martinez, a World Cup winner. He seems to be a specialist in taking his team to the semi-finals. As we saw in the World Cup in Qatar 2022, He's the one who scored the winning penalty spot kick that sent Argentina to the World Cup semi-finals. So a lot to play for. But then I still fancy Rossoneri, the Rossoneri, to make it to the final. Due to their history, their experience in the competition, and the fact that they've got a young squad, the likes of Rafael Leao, they've got the likes of Ismail Benacer, the likes of Tonali, the likes of Calabria, the likes of Junior Macias, the likes of Salamakis, Divock Origi. I still fancy the Rossoneri to make it all the way. They've got a quality squad. Perhaps, maybe they can even go all the way, So I fancy the Rossoneri. Just let me know about your guys' predictions within the comment section. Cheers.